Next, thermodynamic equilibrium. Now in mechanics or being a diploma student, you might have seen this thermodynamic equilibrium as well. So let's brush up it quickly. Thermodynamic equilibrium is when the system is satisfying these three conditions. First condition is called as thermal equilibrium, second condition is called as mechanical equilibrium, and third condition is called as chemical equilibrium. When system satisfies all the three conditions, then we can say that it is in thermodynamic equilibrium. If system is not satisfying any one of those three, system cannot be said in thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay. Now let's see what is meant by thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium, and chemical equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium in this sense, if I consider this as a body and there are certain points in the body, the temperature at those points shouldn't change with respect to time, or it should always remain constant. If temperature of the system does not change with time and has same value at all the points of the system, then the system is said to be in thermal equilibrium. Second, mechanical equilibrium. If there are no unbalanced forces in the system, as well as the pressure in the system is same at all the points. When the pressure at this various points in the system is same and there isn't any unbalanced force, the system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium. And third one is chemical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium in the sense, if chemical composition of system at various points is same, that is first thing, and there isn't any chemical reaction takes place. Means if there isn't any chemical reaction being takes place and chemical composition of the system is uniform throughout the system, then system is said to be in chemical equilibrium. And when all the three conditions are met, system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium. Any query in this one? If you have any query, let me know. Any query? Okay, let's proceed further. Next, irreversible and reversible process. Irreversible process in the sense, the process that cannot be bring back to its original state. Means if process starts changing its state from here and shifted to this state 2. If you cannot bring back to its original state, then the process is irreversible. And when you can bring back to its original state again, the process is said to be reversible. Bringing back to original state in the sense, suppose it has initial properties, pressure P1, volume V1, temperature T1, or some other properties are there. And here it has got P2, V2, and T2. So when you return back to this system to its original state, it should attain that pressure, volume, and temperature values. And when it attains that previous values, the process is reversible. And when it cannot attain those values, the process is irreversible. Now, what makes the process irreversible? The first one is involvement of friction. If in any process there is involvement of friction, the process is going to be irreversible. The reason is, suppose this is a block that has been kept on this horizontal surface. You are trying to push it with the help of force P in this direction. Here at the lower surface of the block, there will be some friction in between block and surface on which it is going to be pushed. So when you apply this force P, some portion of this force P will be consumed by this friction. And because of this friction, that portion of applied force will get converted into heat, sound, and some other forms of energy. And those forms of energy cannot be get back to to have this applied force value P, because those are the forms of energy that are going to be dissipated into the atmosphere and you cannot collect them back. And because of that one, the process becomes irreversible. So that first cause is friction. Second cause is mixing of two fluids. If you mix two similar fluids with each other, or the fluids which are having affinity towards each other, and when you mix those two fluids with each other, we cannot separate them. And if such a mixing is there, process is going to be irreversible. Third one is transfer of heat through finite temperature difference. If you keep a cup of coffee in open atmosphere, suppose temperature of this coffee is 80 degrees Celsius, temperature of atmosphere is 27 degrees Celsius. After a certain period of time, this temperature is going to drop to 27 degrees Celsius. And once this coffee has got attained this atmospheric temperature 27 degrees Celsius, naturally we cannot increase the temperature to 80 degrees Celsius again. We need to heat it up. But naturally this temperature is not going to increase, and that way the process becomes irreversible. And last one is chemical reactions. Chemical reactions like combustion. Combustion is nothing but the reaction of that material with the oxygen. If you consider wood as a material, when you react that wood with oxygen, it is nothing but a combustion, and the process is called as oxidation. When you burn the wood, can you get back the wood once the combustion process has finished? No. So that way, such a chemical reactions makes process irreversible. So these are the four causes of or reasons that makes process irreversible. Any doubt, any query? If you have any, you can ask directly or you can put it in the chat window also. Okay, next, quasi-static process. Quasi-static. Let's split this word first. Quasi means almost. Almost means not exactly, but almost. And static means stationary. So the process which is almost stationary, such a process is called as quasi-static process. Or in other words, if each and every step of process is in equilibrium. Suppose it is changing its state from 1 to 2 and it has some intermediate stages, and if all those stages are in equilibrium, system as well as its surrounding both are in equilibrium at each and every stage, then such a process is called a quasi-static process. Additionally, this process has to be extremely slow. So what are the characteristics of quasi-static process? The process has to be extremely slow. It should have infinite number of stages, and each and every stage has to be in equilibrium with its surrounding. And if all these conditions are there, the process is said to be quasi-static process. Next, state, path, process, and cycle. We are going to this.
Previous
Do I need to explain something?
yes, sir. Quasi-static process.
Okay. Let's take example of this one. How much time is there? 8 minutes. Okay. So this is suppose piston cylinder arrangement. This is the piston. Means whatever I have explained over here, now I am going to explain with this sketch. Suppose this piston cylinder arrangement is there. Here are certain gases, and we are going to provide heat. So when you provide heat, gases will get heated up. They will expand and there will be increase in pressure. Suppose that supply of heat or provision of that heat is instantaneous, just like in internal combustion engine. That air fuel mixture will be burned within fraction of second and all the heat will be supplied, right? So in such cases, what will happen? This piston will move from this position to this position within and instant, because the whole process is instantaneous. Quickly piston will move from this position to this position. If you take out that burnt gases from the system, piston cylinder arrangement, this will move to its original state, but again instantly. That is the first scenario. In second case, what we are going to do, instead of putting all the weight initially, now we are going to divide that weight into parts. So suppose same arrangement is there and I have applied all the weight but in parts. The pressure is increased. Now what I will do, I will remove this one slab. Once I remove this one slab, what will happen? The system will move slightly upward because I have removed just one slab. And because of that one, there will be some scope for this pressure to push this block or piston vertically upward. If I remove second block, this will move slightly upward again. If I remove third, the further movement will be there. Now, in any instant, if I add one block, what will happen? It will return back to its previous state, not initial state, but its previous state. If I add second block, it will return to previous to that state. So now what is the difference between those two? This is instantaneous process. This is a slow process. This has got one stage. This has got number of stages. And another difference is when I add one block or when I subtract one block, I can move this piston from one state to another, and also I can bring back to its original state also. Means if I remove one block, it will move vertically upward. If I add one block, it will move vertically downward. So that way I can reverse this system to its original state. But here I cannot do that because the process is instantaneous. It starts from here and reaches to final state. There aren't any intermediate stages. That is the difference, right? And this process is nothing but a quasi-static process. What properties are there? There are large number of stages. It is extremely slow, and each and every state is in equilibrium with surrounding. And from any state, you can move forward and backward, or you can return back to its original state. As it consists of large number of reversible stages, this process is called a quasi-static process. Is that fine now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so state, path, process, and cycle. State means, suppose over here, system has certain properties, pressure P1, volume P1, temperature T1. When I know all the property values, I can say that I know state of the system at this position. Okay. So it is set of characteristics that describe the condition of thermodynamic system. And that is nothing but a state. Suppose this system changes its state from state 1 to state 2. Now properties have changed to P2, V2, T2, and to have this state change, this has referred or followed this state of sequence. Or a sequence of states. So now this sequence of stages that has followed by system to change its state 1 to state 2 is nothing but a path. If it has changed, if it has followed this state change sequence, this would have been path, or this could have been path. Okay. So when system changes its state from state 1 to state 2, this state change is nothing but a process. When system changes its equilibrium state from one to another, that is called as process. Suppose after changing to state 2, it has returned to its original state. Then we can say that it has completed a cycle. When system starts changing its state change from one state to another, or suppose it undergoes number of state changes, but when it finally returns to its original state, we can say that it has completed one cycle. Initial and proper final properties has to be same, and when that condition has met, the process has completed a cycle. Is that fine? Okay, next thing is thermodynamic properties. Thermodynamic processes. But as we have got only 1 minute left to end the session, so we will not be able to finish this one. So we'll talk about this one in the next session. But as we have got 1 minute, if you have something to say, any query, any suggestion, you can unmute and let me know. We'll cover this point in the next session. If you have anything to say, unmute and speak. Somebody is putting something in chat window. Explain path. Okay. So path is basically, suppose this is system 1, state 1, and this is state 2. Now when system changes state 1 to state 2, it won't be a direct process. There will be some intermediate state changes also. And when you connect all those state changes, you will get one line. And that line is nothing but a path. Okay? Now let's talk about all these processes in details. म्हणजे आता जे आपण पाहिल्या त्याच प्रोसेसेस आपण परत एकदा व्यवस्थित पाहूया. फर्स्ट वन इज आयसोबारिक प्रोसेस. आयसोबारिक म्हणजे प्रेशर कॉन्स्टंट आहे. प्रेशर कॉन्स्टंट आहे म्हणजे व्हॉल्यूम चेंज व्हायला पाहिजे, राइट? सो लेट्स टेक an example. This is liquid and there is certain weight placed on the liquid. If I heat the liquid, there is going to be expansion of the liquid, and expansion मुळे काय होईल? This weight is going to move vertically upward. म्हणजे जसं जसं heat होईल, pressure is going to remain constant and volume is going to increase or decrease depending upon the temperature of the system. आणि weight constant असल्यामुळे pressure constant राहील. कारण हे weight जे आहे, that weight is going to decide the pressure of this fluid. Now look at this PV diagram for the constant pressure process or isobaric process. This horizontal line denoted by a red color is the isobaric process. Now if you look at the y-axis, that represents pressure, x-axis represents volume. This is state 1 of the process, this one is state 2 of the process, and for those two states temperature is same. While if you look at the volume, at state 1 volume is V1, at state 2 volume is V2. So volume is changing, pressure is constant, and the process is isobaric process. Next one is isochoric process. As I said, in case of isochoric process, there will be interaction of the heat only. Work done is going to be 0. So all the heat supplied is going to cause change in internal energy. म्हणजे त्या ठिकाणी काय होणार आहे? There is going to be relation between heat and internal energy only, and work done is going to be 0. Next one is isothermal process. As I already said, delta T is constant, that is temperature is going to remain constant, and when temperature is constant, internal energy is going to remain constant, and work and heat. There would be two interactions. Heat can be converted into work, work can be converted into heat, and that will be 100% conversion. All heat can be converted into work, all work can be converted into heat. That is characteristic of the isothermal process. And if I look at this PV diagram over here, at this initial state, volume is maximum, pressure is minimum, whereas at this final state, pressure is maximum, whereas volume is minimum. So this V and P are going to be inversely proportional in case of isothermal process. Means if I increase the pressure, volume will decrease. If I reduce the pressure, volume will increase. Next one is adiabatic process. There will not be any heat interaction. So Q is equal to 0, and there will be interaction between change in internal energy and work. If work is provided to the system, internal energy will increase. If work is done by the system, internal energy will decrease. So there will be, or those two things will be inversely proportional to each other. Now this is based on the Joule's experiment, or here we are going to talk about the heat and work conversion. So this is Joule's experiment. If you look at this sketch, there is one stirrer that is immersed in a liquid that is filled in a container. At the other end of that stirrer, a rope is connected that is passes over this pulley and that is connected to the weight. Now, what I am going to do, now I am going to add weight over here. Because of that one, this weight will move vertically downward, and this downward motion of this weight through this rope passing over the pulley is going to be converted into rotary motion of the stirrer. So when this weight moves downward, this stirrer is going to rotate. Because of that rotary motion of the stirrer, the temperature of the system is going to increase. So we are now going to establish the relationship between the work. We are going to move this weight vertically downward. So this is nothing but a work. So work done on this system and temperature increase of the system. Now here we can say that the input to the system is work done, whereas output of the system is increase in temperature. So ultimately I can say that work can be converted into heat. And similarly, if I take this heat, that heat can be used to convert into work also. That we do in all the power plants, thermal power plants. There we get the have the combustion of the fuel. Heat will be generated. That heat will be provided to water. Water will be converted into steam. Steam will be supplied to the turbine, and finally we will get the mechanical energy. Mechanical energy that finally converted into electricity. Right. So heat can be converted into work also. So here Joule proves that heat and work are interconvertible. Heat can be converted into work, work can be converted into heat. This part actually I think we have discussed in the first or second session itself, but I think there we were not having this sketch. So this is basically Joule's experiment that proves heat and work are interconvertible. Now another important thing I need to explain over here itself, this Q and W. These two are the forms of energy are going to interact with the system. Means heat can enter the system, heat can leave the system, work can enter the system, work can leave the system. Now, we need to have some sign convention for this conversion or for this interaction. Means suppose this is system, Q entering the system, W entering the system, Q leaving the system, W leaving the system. Now sign convention is like, if heat is entering the system, that is going to be considered as positive. So if heat is supplied to the system, heat is entering the system, that is going to be positive. If work is input to the system or work is consumed by the system, that is going to be negative. Heat input positive, work input negative. Similarly, if heat is output of the system or if heat is being lost by the system, heat is negative. Whereas if work is output of the system, this is called as work produced by the system, and that is going to be positive. This is quite important sign convention. This is going to be basis for all the numericals based on heat and work interaction. And thermodynamics मध्ये heat and workच आहे, right? So remember this sign convention. This is going to be useful for this semester, for upcoming semester, or for lifelong. Q input to the system positive, W input to the system negative, Q output or Q lost negative, work output or work, it is this work is not, we cannot say this is work lost by the system. Actually, in case of work input to the system is called as work consumed by the system, and work output to the system is called as work produced by the system. So work consumed is negative and work produced is positive. Anybody has got any doubt about this sign convention?